The Reverend Howard Storm is my guest. Have you ever heard anything like this before? I think not. We'll get right back to him. Once again, back to the Reverend Howard Storm. Reverend, welcome back. Okay, so here you are, all curled up like a ball in the middle of nothingness. That you hadn't quite, you certainly had not computed in your head yet was hell. Or maybe it wasn't hell yet.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of levels to hell. I think there's a almost unlimited variety of hellish experiences that people might have when they die, and this was just my hell.
Yours. Uh-huh. Yeah. Bad enough for me. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, please continue.
And this is really hard to explain or understand, but I feel like I was there for an eternity. I don't know how long I was in that situation all alone, thinking about my life, but there was no sense of any limit to it. It just seemed like an extremely long time without any measure whatsoever, and feeling so sorry for myself and hopeless and desperately trying to find a way out of it, and there was no way out. I recalled in my memory myself as a child in a Sunday school classroom singing "Jesus Loves Me," and I felt I was feeling what I had felt as a child, this sense that there was something very good and beautiful, powerful out there in the world somewhere that cared about me. And I very much wanted something above and beyond myself to care about me. So, not knowing if this was just a childhood fantasy or not, I yelled out into the darkness, "Jesus, please save me," with no, I had no sense of whether anyone would hear that or if there was such a thing or person or at all, just in the desperate hope that that might be true. And when I did that, a tiny little, what appeared to be a star, began to shine in that darkness and very rapidly got bigger and brighter and came to me. And as its illumination shined on me, I could see that I looked like roadkill, just gore and ripped and filth. And I felt hands come out of this light and touch me, and all of the wounds and the filth on me just began to disappear. And more importantly, inside of me, all of the pain, all of the despair went away, and I was filled with ecstasy that I can't begin to describe.
Mm-hmm.
And the hands reached under me and picked me up, and I was embraced in this impossibly brilliant white light by what felt like a person. And he was stroking my back very gently, like a mother or a father would with a child. And I began to cry, and that was significant for me because in my adult life I'd only cried like maybe 2 or 3 times, because I grew up in a generation where real men don't cry.
Mm-hmm. And
so I was sort of crying all the tears that I had held in all of my life. And we began to rise up out of that darkness. And I think we were going faster and faster. And I was trying to get my composure together enough. I was trying to stop crying enough to see where we were going, and I looked out and I saw that way off in the distance there was a focal point or concentration of more light, and we were moving towards that, and there was all this activity around it, coming and going, and we were moving towards that. And as we moved towards it, I suddenly had the realization that that was like God or heaven or something. And I felt, and I thought to myself, I'm such a piece of garbage. They've made a terrible mistake. I don't belong here. And with that, we stopped. And for the first time, this person, whom I refer to as Jesus, spoke to me, and he said, we don't make mistakes. You do belong here. And then we began to converse, and I immediately realized that he could hear everything that I thought. And then he would project his voice into my head. And I wasn't hearing him through my ears. I was just hearing him speak into my mind.
Right.
And he was trying to put me at ease, and he said he had friends that he wanted me to meet, so he called out with musical tones, and about 7 people, or beings of light, these brilliant white light people came and were hanging in space, and they hovered or hung around us. And then they tried to put me at ease, and one of the things they said to me was, do you want to see us in our human form? And I said, I hate people. When I say I said, I actually never said anything. What I thought. I thought, I hate people. I never want to see people again. And I said, why would I want to see people? Mm-hmm. You know, you're like so much more beautiful than people. I mean, like, you know. And they said, that's okay. You know, whatever. You know, fine. And after, one of the funny things that happened was I realized that at this point I wasn't wearing any clothes.
Oh.
And I was trying to cover myself with my hands. And they were amused at that. And they said, don't worry about it. We've seen it before. It's no big deal. You know. You can relax, you know. And they said that they wanted to show me my life. And so that was fun because, hey, it's going to be about me, you know, like this is great, you know. I'm getting all this attention, you know.
Yes.
And so we started off and we were watching little scenes, and these were sort of like they were projecting from their memory or record of my life, these scenes of my life, starting off as a baby, and, you know, I see my mother and father playing with me, and it just was like, to see my parents young and happy, you know, and playing with me as a baby was just so beautiful. And I saw myself growing up and swimming at the beach and, you know, and playing ball, you know, out in the street in the neighborhood. Sure. And everything's like delightful and wonderful. And then I see, as my life's going on, things beginning to sort of deteriorate, you know, and there's family fights, and I'm sort of hiding in my room because I don't want to get, you know, clobbered, you know, because of what's going on in the household. And
yes.
Pulling back emotionally from my family and the world as a sort of defense mechanism, and then I'm skipping over. I'm not going to tell you the whole story of my life, but as I see God gives me the gift of a woman who falls in love with me, who I fall in love with, and I was more interested in the lust part than the love part. And we got married, and we had children, and I see myself just pulling back from people emotionally. I don't want to be involved with people, because you're involved with people, you're going to have pain. You're going to get hurt, you know? And so I'm becoming more and more hard-hearted and manipulative of other people, where basically, like, everybody else are like chess pieces that I have to kind of maneuver around or through to make my way.
Yes.
But I'm not interested in their feelings. You know, I'm not interested in them as people. They're just things that you have to deal with all the time. You know, and some of them are pleasurable things to deal with, and some of them are very disagreeable. And so I just try and adopt this persona of being the biggest, baddest bear in the woods, you know.
Mm-hmm.